What do we have for Pisces? Nine of Cups, Pisces, that is your energy at the foundation of the reading. Now, it's very interesting that I got this particular Nine of Cups because as we can see here, there's these two little boys playing, and then there's this little girl, and there's something kind of, it's almost like she's got this greedy, kind of envious energy there, like, well, I want to be playing, and she looks a little bit obsessive. Now, the downloads that I have for this particular reading align perfectly with the imagery of this card because I'm picking up somebody in your energy that has been doing a lot of things behind the scenes to hold you back from happiness and success in your life. But this is something that you have only just recently, like the past few years or so, started to fully recognize. And I feel that when you started to see what this person or quite possibly a group of people was doing, you started to distance yourself. And as a result of you beginning to put some space between you and these people, your life completely changed. Everything just started to move forward in an accelerated manner. So now, as you've been making your way down your path without these individuals in your life, you are really starting to get perspective. Things are beginning to crystallize surrounding just how much these individuals may have been doing, which is leaving you with this sort of question. If they were doing this much, now that I'm aware of it, I can only imagine how much they were doing when I was completely unaware of it. Simply put, you're thinking back over times when you were ignorant to what they were actually doing. You were blind to it. You couldn't see it. And I feel that this is having a profound effect on your development, which is interesting because here you are, a fully grown adult, but your awareness of the situation is causing you to develop and grow in ways that you never even saw possible until this illumination began to unfold in your life. These individuals are victimized by the success that you are beginning to have. They think it should be theirs. They tried to wear you down, and they still might be doing this, depending on how much contact you still have with them. But I was also picking up messages surrounding individuals that are trying to hide behind a mask, metaphorically speaking. Individuals quite possibly harassing you through emails, texts, comments, things that are essentially meant to break your spirit. See, this is what they've now reduced themselves to. They can't get to you in an organic sense, so they're using alternative means to try and break you down. The Nine of Cups from this deck with this imagery is a very entitled energy. These are people who expect success to be handed to them on a silver platter without shedding a single bead of sweat. You've worked very hard for what you have, and though everybody can see that clearly, in their mind, they still think that everything you have attained should be theirs without question. What do we have? The sacred, please? Wow. Ace of Wands. Aries, Leo, Sag energy in reverse at the sacral. So the Ace of Wands upright is the action that you took to attain this success in your life. It's an energy of inspiration. It is the power of creation. You harnessed all of this, a fire in your belly, and you made it happen. It was the release of these energies once and for all for your life that allowed you to truly step into your power and make all of this a reality. But in reverse, it's these individuals refusing to acknowledge any of this. They see it, but they will not acknowledge it. And I just heard very clearly, these individuals would rather die than give you your flowers, to give you their respect and credit for what you have built or are in the process of building. For a lot of you, this is a sibling, a family member. I'm also hearing a longtime friend, someone who you've known since you were very young that grew up to be nothing, a very entitled individual that is probably still mooching off of their own families, essentially living off of other people, and then mad at you because you managed to break free and build your own. You know, everything that I'm picking up here is biblical because God uses you and these individuals as an example. You are the archetype, a perfect example of somebody who had to fight tooth and nail to get to where you are or to where you're going to. And these individuals fit the archetype of the green-eyed monster. Jealousy imagined like a monster that attacks people. I feel that this individual is so consumed with their own demons that they cannot even see the way they act nor their treatment towards others. They refuse. See, God gives people like this an opportunity to repent, to face off with their own ego. And this is what this comes down to, is ego. They don't want to give it up. They've been warned many times. I've seen people like this time and time again in my own life. They just can't seem to focus on their own path and building their own. They have to come for other people, tear them down because they feel so threatened and exposed by what it is you're doing and where you're going. Some of these individuals may have even had some success in their own life and are losing it now because they're so threatened by you having success. But they're so consumed by their own ego and greed that they still cannot see that this is why they are losing everything piece by piece. And in a lot of cases, these people are beginning to blame you for what they're losing. They think it's your fault. They actually think that success is limited, that it's not something that everybody can have, which is exactly why they're slowly losing it, or why they will never experience it, depending on who you're dealing with. What do we have at the solar plexus? 3 of Wands, Aries energy at the solar plexus. I just heard again that everything that you have built is well-deserved. The 3 of Wands, this is an energy of the entrepreneur, but it's also an energy of travel. It's almost like he's discovered this new land away from these people and is now finding success without this parasitical sort of energy depleting him, draining him of everything that he needed to gain this success to begin with. I believe that the number one reason why people who are working day in and day out and still not receiving the fruits for their labor don't attain the success that they deserve is all because of their surroundings, their environment, the people that they share their dreams with, their hopes, their desires. Sadly, more often than not, if you begin to put the focus on some of your closest relationships and you start to audit friendships, you're going to find something. But there's something different about what you're doing here, Pisces. I just heard you're a waymaker. Nobody's doing what you've done here, or nobody's doing it the way you've done it, which makes people even more jealous because it makes them feel slighted. Especially if you're doing things that involve spirituality, self-improvement, and personal growth, which is what I'm picking up here. This 9 of Cups at the foundation, which is your energy, is telling me that you becoming the best version of yourself is a massive problem for this individual. That's what this is all about. They'd rather put all of the focus on trying to stop you, trying to tear you down, than turning inward and quite possibly meeting you on the level where you're going. What you're doing here is no cakewalk. It's not something that is easy by any means. It's difficult. I feel that you have gone through situations where you have been spiritually broken to get to this point now. When God wants to make someone great, he needs to break you first. And I feel that this is exactly what has happened to you. And this is why you are going to start seeing the results, if you haven't already, for all of the positive energy, work, and sweat that you have deposited into your spiritual evolution. Then right on the bottom of this deck, I have the Death card. So perfect card to follow what I just said, okay? Transformation. You are rising up out of the ashes of the past, out of the ashes of the person you once were. 10 of Wands, handing your burdens over to the divine, which is a representation of everything that you have been dealing with here. What do we have at the heart, please? 6 of Swords, Aquarius energy at the heart. Perfect. We just saw that 10 of Wands, which is you handing your burdens over to the divine. And now here you are, getting on the boat. This is your rite of passage. You're moving away from the pain of this situation, the pain of the past, the pain of their treatment towards you. Some of you have yet to even face this. It's as if the divine is just trying to remove you from the situation before you can start tending to your wounds. They've got to get you to safe territory. Makes perfect sense. When I went through this situation, it wasn't even until a few years later, really recently, that I started dealing with some of these wounds that I had been impacted by. Your journey and all of your growth helps you overcome those spiritual traumas, emotional, physical, mental. You get to a point where you're so grateful for your evolution, your growth, the success, however that looks for you, that you're less likely to allow the trauma of these situations to impact you the way they once would have. In other words, you've grown a lot, and some of you have gotten to the point where your perception of life and the way you interface with it has completely shifted. You start to look at these people that you have moved on from as limited. You have empathy for them. And no matter how trying these situations that they put you through might have been, you see it as a necessary component to the person that you have become. This really says a lot about you, because it really suggests that you have a greater understanding of how life works, how spiritual evolution unfolds. You understand that there's purpose to all of our struggles, no matter how dark. And I know for some of you out there, that may be difficult to come to terms with or to even comprehend, because maybe those wounds are still very raw. But I promise you that in time, you will gain the much needed perspective, and you'll be able to get a better understanding of why things had to happen the way they did. I'm also hearing something about a lot of you waking up to the matrix of your life, which is all being displayed in this energy, in this reading here. You were living a kind of lie, an illusion, without even knowing it. You were kept numb to the true reality of your situation. You were kept from ever being able to see it. It was only by divine intervention that you came online, so to speak, and began to see the cracks. It happened slowly over time, I feel. Maybe one situation caused you to raise your eyebrow at someone's treatment towards you, or maybe somebody says something. You're like, what? And then all of these things began to unfold at an accelerated rate, almost like an avalanche of truth that you could no longer deny, because you realized to deny what you were being faced with and what the universe was showing you would speak about you sacrificing your own happiness for the happiness of other individuals who truly never had your best interest in mind. What do we have at the throat, please? Ah, there it is. Perfect. So when I see a card on the bottom of the deck and then it comes out, it puts a lot of weight behind that energy. Okay, so death card at the throat. Now, the death card is not literal for a reading like this. It speaks about a death to that old version of you, that version of you that was living in that lie that they were mainlining to you. Scorpio energy with this death card, representing the rebirth and transformation that is unfolding in your life. You're moving on. And though you may leave with your heart in pieces in the palm of your hand, you will stitch it all back together and stand stronger, more powerful, more awakened to the true nature and reality of your purpose and your path. It's typically in these moments that you start to realize that you're shattering an illusion of what you once perceived love to be. Now, what I feel that this is really speaking about is a newfound sense of love that you have within self, for God, for the divine, for source and the universe. Everything is different. Colors are more vibrant. You can feel the energies flowing all around you in a way that you never had before. You have a new heightened sense of awareness, and with it comes this newfound expression of what love really is. It's something that you find within self, with your creator, with your path, with your purpose. It allows you to align and calibrate with the person that you were always meant to be in this life cycle. And then in turn, as time goes on, you will find that reflected back to you in the face of others or another. In other words, your newfound sense of love allows you to attract the same back to you within the face of another. And then right on the bottom of the deck, perfect, 2 of Cups, just followed what I said, right? Now, it can speak about love, but I'm more picking up tribes, people that you align with that have gone through what you have gone through, or quite possibly similar, right? It's like you're stumbling across this person and both of you are like, oh my God, I didn't know there was another one like me out there. What do we have at the third eye, please? 2 of Pentacles, Capricorn energy at the third eye. Pisces, there's a whole new timeline opening up for you here. I feel like this is something that is happening right now and in the coming weeks. I'm hearing something about from now until the middle of April, which makes sense because of the transits. We're coming out of a bunch of retrogrades, but then we go into a Venus retrograde at the beginning of March, and that will end the middle of April. So I feel that there's a lot of movement that's taking place over this period of time energetically. Okay, they're saying something about mid to late April, which makes sense with Venus coming out of retrograde, that you'll start to see movement in these sorts of areas. Venus, love. Now, again, they want me to repeat, it doesn't have to be actual romantic love. It could be new friendships, new communities, stuff like this. Some of you could be moving and meet new people, but I'm an energy reader, so I'm just reading that there's supportive energy that is coming towards you. Now, the way that shows up is going to be different for each and every one of you out there, but it just really speaks about you finally aligning with that kind of energy because of what you have overcome and because of what you are finally ready to leave behind. The Two of Pentacles is really speaking about the action of adapting to all of this. It's sort of like you're between worlds right now. You have, see, we have the figure 8 there, right, which is representing the cycle. It's like you're leaving this cycle behind and you're stepping into a new era of your life. And I don't ever say era. I always say chapter or timeline, but I said era without even having a moment to even think about it. So era really speaks about your development. It's like your spiritual development is what is allowing this to all unfold. This is the key. You know, this is one of these energies where the way you remove yourself from the struggles of what you may be dealing with in your everyday waking life is by going inward, which is a really simple way of speaking about you connecting with source, spirit, your higher self, your inner compass and guidance, and your intuition. That's where you find the key to unlock this new beginning. What do we have at the crown, please? The Fool. Card 0 at the crown. All these cards are following what I'm saying because the Fool is the card of new beginnings. It's all about stepping out on faith. So I'm getting something here about a number of you out there who may still be dealing with the fear of moving on, disconnecting, going your own way. This is normal. And this is also one of these things that you're going to look back on once you're on the other side of this and realize that there was nothing to be scared of. In fact, most of the things that you're scared of have every reason to be scared of you, or rather fear you. See, those people, those things, these situations that you're empowering without even really knowing it, because you are placing fear into them, which is making them feel strong. They feel like they have control over you. See, a lot of you don't even realize that you're empowering these other individuals, these situations, these circumstances by depositing your internal fear of what could be if you actually moved on and you don't even realize it. You know, one of the biggest awakenings that I've had in my life was surrounding all the things that I once feared, all the way back to my childhood, the things that terrified me, which for the most part came in the form of other people that were in my life. But now, when I think about these situations or these people, there's not a shred of fear there. In fact, I see these energies as very cowardice that they can make another individual feel that way as a means to mask what they lack within self. See, anybody who tries to extract fear from another is only doing so to fill the void of what they themselves are lacking on a soul level. Now, it's impossible to get that sort of perspective when you're young, when you're a child, when you're not developed yet and you haven't experienced some life. But once you do finally get that different vantage point over these situations, it can make you a bit upset. It can make you angry, especially when you start to think about what you may have endured as a child, how anybody could put a child through the things that you have gone through. But there is a way to extract something very useful, something very beautiful from all of that. And it's typically going to come in the form of your purpose or what you feel destined to do in your life. And when you finally are able to sit with yourself with this kind of perspective, this is when you know you've truly arrived and that there's nothing that you can't accomplish so long as it's in alignment with the highest good of you and the highest good of all and what has been written into your Akashic records and your path in this life cycle. Everything is connected. Nothing is by chance. The highs, the lows. It's like there's a cosmic blanket, and each one of these situations is a thread that makes up every part of you. What do we have at the foundation, please? 8 of Cups. Wow. right underneath that 9 of Cups. Now, the 8 of Cups from this deck, also Pisces, this is your energy, right? Look, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Pisces is. No, right? This kind of energy. Wow. Now, the 8 of Cups from this particular deck is representing somebody who's just kind of drifting aimlessly throughout life, refusing to confront their own truth, their own demons, which, as we can see here, they have a lot of. Greed, jealousy. These fall under the umbrella of the 7 deadly sins. They're sins for a reason, because look what they have put you through. What do we have at the sacral, please? Wow. 7 of Pentacles, Navarius at the sacral. Now, whenever I get the 7 Pentacles from this deck, it's like this crow is sitting on this urn of ashes, but these ashes represent the ashes that you are rising out of, right? Which is what the Death card is. The Death card also represents the phoenix rising up out of the ashes, that transformation. So this is telling me that this individual was purposely trying to hold you back. It was deliberate. Rather than supporting you and understanding their place in your life, they decided that it was in their best interest to stop you from realizing your potential. They decided that it was more beneficial to keep you from the world, is what I just heard. Okay, I just heard. Yeah, they wanted to hide you away from the world. They didn't want people to see your potential and how special you were, because it made them feel less than. I'm also getting something here about somebody quite possibly comparing this person to you. Like, why can't you be more like them? Something like this, which makes sense if it's somebody you grew up with, maybe a sibling or a family member, again, a friend. But there's a lot of jealousy in this energy here. And it's all at the root and sacral here. Now, I feel it goes without saying, but I feel that these individuals were having a massive impact on your overall happiness, health, and well-being. It's like as soon as you disconnect from these energies, you don't know yourself. You're this whole new person. You have this newfound sense of self. Again, it goes back to what I said about colors being more vibrant. You have a heightened sense of awareness. Unbelievable. Look at that. Death card again, and it comes right after that. Right? So the individual sitting on the urn of ashes that you're actually meant to rise up out of. And then the Death card from this deck is an energy of stagnation. It's an energy that wants you to feel hopeless, stuck, because that's where they are. It's basically an energy of inertia, just remaining the same, doing nothing but sitting around with them. And look, right, we can get this little cherub. He's sitting on a pile of skulls right there. And see how it looks all sweet and innocent? But look how many lives this little sweet baby cherub has taken, right? And it says right there, incites jealousy and envy. What do we have at the heart, please? Wow. 8 of Wands, Sag energy, slavery. Now, the 8 of Wands from this deck is double downing on this energy that we're getting here, okay? Because it's an energy of delays, and it's right underneath that 6 of Swords. So that 6 of Swords is you moving on, right? Your rite of passage. But this is clearly showing us here now that they deliberately tried to hold you back. However that shows up for you. You know, an example they're giving me is somebody who intercepts opportunities for you. Hey, have you seen Pisces? I really want to talk to them about this opportunity that I have for them. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be seeing them later. I'll let them know. Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, no worries. And then you hear nothing of it. Very basic example, but this is what I'm getting here. Something like this. It's like this happens year after year after year. And then eventually people just stop asking about you because they don't think that, I just heard you have any drive or motivation to want to do something significant in your life. It's like a whole narrative has been constructed, has been puppeteered by this individual or individuals. And then we have the Page of Wands at the heart, Aries, Leo, Sag energy, Erythale, propagation of light. So now here you are, charging towards this new beginning with this new-found sense of passion, very energetic as well, which it's like something is returned to you, your realization of what has been taking place, or you just merely accepting this for the first time, not making up excuses for these people or not blaming yourself, provides you with something. Really comes down to the fact that I feel you are trusting yourself and the way you feel for the first time ever, Pisces. You're no longer allowing individuals to gaslight you into thinking that you are imagining something or not perceiving it correctly. I'm picking up an energy here of severe mental manipulation and gaslighting, which is a typical byproduct of somebody who's gone through what you have gone through in a situation like this. You never catch it from the get-go, right? Especially if this has been going on since you were a child or you were younger. It takes growing up and living some life to actually start to see things clearly, but it's all a part of the path. You are meant to gather this experience and wisdom because the divine has been using you as a vessel of truth this entire time, and you only just now realized it. And right on the bottom of the deck, we have the moon and the high priestess. So this is the moon. So you're just now realizing it, right? Like this is being illuminated to you. And then high priestess, the divine, using you as a vessel of truth and awakening. What do we have at the throat, please? This Three of Swords was underneath the high priestess there. And now it's just come out at the throat. Libra energy. So here you are, finally healing and recovering from this situation. Right? It's like you've grown your wings. You're on this new timeline. You're in this new era. And now you're able to compartmentalize exactly what you've gone through here. Just like I said, the divine works to getting you on path and getting you to this new era in your life, and then you start to tend to your wounds, spiritually speaking. This is exactly what this Three of Swords is representing here. Three of Swords represents heartbreak, but from this deck, this is you actually overcoming the heartbreak of everything that you've gone through, because you understand things from a higher perspective now, and you understand that it had to go down like this. No matter how dark or diabolical it may have been, you're going to extract something amazing from it. And that is how you defeat the devil in your life, because that is the last thing that they want you to do. What do we have at the third eye, please? Amazing. Judgment, Imamia, Pluto energy at the third eye. God hidden in darkness. Atonement of errors, destroys the power of enemies and humiliates them, right? So here it is. The tables have now turned. The judgment angel has been watching this entire time, and they're going to have to pay for what they did to you. And I'm hearing quite possibly others in the form of karmic retribution. This is also further emphasizing the fact that your purpose is directly connected to this. You're being called to something much greater that is going to see you utilizing all of these struggles to your benefit and the benefit of those who come in contact with you or find your teachings, is what I just heard very clearly. What do we have at the crown to close this out for Pisces? Again, following what I'm saying, Ace of Pentacles, Kehathel, the adored God, divine blessings, drives away evil spirits, rules agricultural production. So this is speaking directly on all of this, leading you to your purpose, a blessing from the divine in the form of wisdom, life lived, experience, and knowledge that you are now going to use to empower yourself on your path moving forward. The Ace of Pentacles is all about manifestation and the tools that the divine supplies you with to make a real world impact in your life. This right here is this. This is them trying to keep you from all of this. And I gotta say, these individuals have always seen in you what you are just now starting to see in yourself, which says it all. They could have helped you. They could have supported you, been a part of this with you, but instead they decided to suppress all of this beauty within you and keep you from the world, but not anymore. You can't be stopped. And the world is going to know your name and your teachings. All right, Pisces, this is what I have for you. I hope that there's some messages here to help you on your path. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, turn on your notifications, and I'll see you guys again. Take care.